Okay, whether you're vegan, whether you're Muslim, whether you're a Jew, whether you're spiritual, or whether you just plain don't like pork, it's not enough to not eat pork. You would be surprised how many things contain pork that you wouldn't believe. From cake to candy to bread. You must read your packages and do your diligence to make sure you're not eating swine.
I don't like swine.
I know you don't like swine because swine is a pig. Do y'all like pig?
No!
They don't like pig. So let's go through some things that actually may contain pork that you may never have known.
Don't want no iggy piggy, slimy porky, get that sign above my forky. Don't want no gross pig man.
Okay, wine was a new discovery for me. I had no clue that wines are vegan or non-vegan. Now, they don't necessarily put pork or gelatin in wine, but through the process of mashing the grapes, fermenting it, and straining it, they'll sometimes or a lot of times strain the wine in these animal skins, and they can be derived from cows, from pigs, pretty much from a combination of pig skin and cow skin. And the label doesn't actually tell you if it was strained through a pig skin or a cow skin. So it may be hard for you to know unless you either one, go to the company's site to research whether they do offer vegan wines or how they process their wines or their alcohol to make sure it's not strained through animal skins. Or you can go to barneyboard.com and input your brand, input your wine, and they're pretty good at telling you what wines are vegan and what wines are not vegan. Sour cream. Not all sour creams use gelatin, but some of them does use gelatin in the process. When you're looking for sour cream, a lot of times just for wanting the best stuff and as well as not getting a lot of additives, including gelatin, you want to just go with the one that says cultured cream. But if you go with some brands like the Kroger brand sour cream, it will have all these ingredients and plus it does use gelatin. So if you use a lot of sour cream, be aware of which one you use because some brands do contain gelatin.
Don't want no baby piggy. Don't want no baby piggy. Don't want no eggy piggy.
Gummies. Gummies are a big one. My children love gummies, but many gummies use gelatin in the process. Now you are able to locate some vegan gummies or some gummies that don't use gelatin, but majority of them do use gelatin in them. So be aware when you're picking out gummies for your children and you don't want to consume pork or you don't want them consuming pork. Read your packages because some of them do contain gelatin. Starburst. This was also a new find for me. I have eaten some Starburst since I was not eating pork and did not realize that pork or gelatin is also used in some Starburst. Now, some things that has a more jelly, bouncy consistency, we may get why or understand why maybe gelatin being a kind of jelly or bouncy substance is used in certain things, but certain things like Starburst, which isn't hard, but it's still not the gummiest of candy, but most Starbursts do use gelatin. Now what I find interesting is while I was doing this video, I actually saw one of the Starburst minis, and the minis actually don't use gelatin, so that was interesting. But if you just get the regular pack of Starburst, most of them will contain gelatin. Jiffy Cornbread. I love Jiffy. I love cornbread. My wife kind of doesn't like Jiffy because it says sweet, but whatever the case, Jiffy is good, but Jiffy does use lard. And many of us actually don't know what lard is. We just think it's some type of oil, some type of butter, grease, but it's pig fat. So Jiffy Cornbread does use lard in it, which is pig fat. I did notice in the past that I've seen Jiffy boxes that said vegetarian, and in the past I'm like, what's vegetarian cornbread? It's cornbread, not realizing that it could possibly use pork in it. But when it was called to my attention, they said, oh, it uses lard, which is pig fat. So if you like Jiffy Cornbread, get the vegetarian and not the regular box, because the regular box does contain lard, which is pig fat. Beef consomme, and I blame my grandmother for this, for sending me out. She gave us a recipe on this chicken and rice and said use beef consomme. So I went to the store, got it, got home. Wife said, you know, this has gelatin in it. So basically, beef consomme is beef stock with gelatin added. The only difference is gelatin. So if you're using a beef consomme, it's not fancy, it's just beef stock with gelatin. So be aware of that. Some refried beans also have lard in them. Actually, a lot of Mexican restaurants do use lard. Probably the more authentic, the higher chance of them using lard. Some of them actually also fry their tortillas in lard. But refried beans, a lot of them do contain lard in them. So if you're trying to get refried beans, try to go with the vegetarian one or the fat-free. Those usually do not contain lard, but yes, a lot of refried beans do contain lard. Okay, Pepperidge Farms cakes. Now this was very surprising to me. I was getting dessert one day and I was looking at the ingredients, not to look for pork or gelatin, but just to see what bad ingredients we were consuming. And then I saw gelatin, so like, that's weird. So the Pepperidge Farm cakes, whether it's coconut, the chocolate, the birthday cake, all those contain gelatin. So if you're getting some cake and if you're vegan, you probably are staying away from things like milk and cheese or dairy. But if you're just not consuming pork, you may not think that something like pork is in a cake. But yes, gelatin is used in the Pepperidge Farms, or is it Pepperidge, whatever. Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts, it has frosting, and specifically off-brand Pop-Tarts and the name brand Pop-Tarts. If it has frosting, those do, in most cases, have gelatin in them. If you want to get the Pop-Tarts, but not use, if you want to eat Pop-Tarts and not consume gelatin, one, you can either get the unfrosted kind and frost them yourself, or there are select brands like the one I'm showing you now that they do not use gelatin for their frosting. But be aware, Pop-Tarts with frosting does contain gelatin. Marshmallows. Maybe this is a duh moment for some people, but marshmallows, usually all of them contain gelatin. If you want to get the marshmallow and make s'mores but not eat pig, you can go to high-end stores like Sprouts, Whole Foods. I've also seen them in Walmart. They do offer vegan marshmallows. And also the marshmallow cream, it actually does not use gelatin either. Okay, this is like a bonus. I was not going to add this because I could not find some in the store today that fit this criteria, but it is a worthy mention. You will see beef sausages or chicken sausages, and you'll say, okay, it's beef, it's chicken, it's not pork, but read your packages, because a lot of them will actually, be beef or be chicken, then it'll say wrapped in a pork casing, which I'm like, that's false advertising. How are you going to say it's beef or all beef, but it's wrapped in pork? That's an oxymoron. But be aware of beef, and specifically beef. I haven't seen this as much with chicken, even though it can happen as well. But beef, chicken, sausages, read your packages. Make sure it says collagen casing. If it's collagen casing, that means it's going to be a beef casing. If not, it'll say pork casing. And if I want a beef sausage, I don't want it wrapped in pork. So those were things that contain pork that you may not know. If you know something, comment below. Like, I want to know, me as a person and my family who don't consume pork, it's big for us to know what contains pork, because some of these things I didn't find out until like 3-4 months ago. So I would like you guys to comment below if you also know some things that, contain pork that we probably never knew. Peace.
Refried.